Hey guys, and welcome to One Keys. This lesson will be about an exercise for warming up your fingers before every time you get to practicing, not only to get an effective practice done, but also to avoid injury. This lesson is meant for anyone to be able to follow and do, and by going over it a few times before every practice session, you've taken another step to becoming a better guitar player. So now, let's get to the lesson. This finger exercise starts from the 5th fret. So have your index finger over the 5th fret, middle finger over the 6th, ring finger over the 7th, and your pinky over the 8th. Start out by placing your index finger on the 5th fret of the 6th string and play the note. Play the 6th fret with your middle finger, 7th with your ring finger, and 8th with your pinky. And when you get to the pinky, move on to the next string and do the same thing starting from the index finger. So 5th fret, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Next string. Next string. Next string. And last string. Until you get to the last note on the 8th fret. And when you're doing this exercise, make sure that you make each note sound as clear as you can while going at a constant count. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on until you get to the last note on the 8th fret. I'll be using a pick for this exercise, and when you're using the pick to play the strings, you should use a method called alternate picking. That means that instead of using all down strokes, for example, you should alternate between a down stroke and an up stroke between each note. For example, using this method will help you not only gain speed later on, but it will let you have a smoother motion with your hand. And the last thing to note is that you want to turn the pick slightly when you're playing the strings. So instead of hitting the string with the flat part of the pick, you want to just slightly turn the pick so that you're hitting the string at a slight angle, as if you're hitting the string with the side of the pick. Because this will make it easier for you to go through the string with your pick. Once you can comfortably do this exercise going up at a constant speed, by using the alternate picking method, you can also practice this exercise going down as well from the last note, which was the 8th fret at the 1st string. So going down, 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, move on to the next string at the 8th fret, and keep going down. Until you get to the bottom note at the 5th fret of the 6th string. Now, I would suggest that you take some time to practice this until you can comfortably do it going up as well as going down, because the next level of this exercise will be more difficult to do. But the next one is the one that will really help you develop that finger strength as well as the independence for your fingers as well. This level 2 of the exercise is very similar to the first one, except that you will need to keep your fingers pressed down on the frets until the moment each one needs to move. So here's how it goes. Play the 5th fret with your index finger. Play the 6th fret with your middle finger, but keep that index finger pressed down on the fret. Play the 7th fret with your ring finger. Play the 8th fret with your pinky. Now, while keeping all of the other fingers down, only move the index finger down to the next string. Move only the middle finger this time. Move the ring finger. And then lastly, move the pinky. Now, repeat this process get to the last note at the 8th fret of the 1st string. One way to check yourself to see if you're doing it correctly is to listen for the ringing of the previous string even when you move on to the next string. So for example, right there, you can hear the ringing of the previous string. Right there. Right there. So the ringing of the previous string means that you're keeping all of the other fingers down except for the one that's moving, which lets you know that you're doing this correctly. If this is your first time encountering an exercise like this, it may be hard to follow at first. So make sure that you're going very slow at your own pace when you're starting out until you feel confident and you feel like you can either increase the speed or move on to the next level. As an example, let's take a look at the G chord that we learned previously. You can see that there's a lot of space between the middle finger and the pinky. And as a beginner level guitarist, the G chord is probably one of the harder chords that you might come across because it requires you to play 2 frets that are far away from each other. And if you haven't developed enough finger strength, the chord might make either a buzzing sound or it might just be completely muted. So let's take a look at another chord, for example, the C chord. You can see this time that there is a lot of space between the index finger and the ring finger. And the C chord might also come across as difficult because it also requires you to play 2 frets that are far away from each other, just like the G chord. So doing these exercises can really help you develop a good enough finger strength for you to be able to sound clear when you're playing the chords. You guys might say this is boring and it's not worth doing, but this is what really lets you be able to play other things that you might want on the guitar. So try to put this before every one of your practice routines and you'll be able to not only move around the fretboard easier, but also make your chords sound clearer. So thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed the lesson, please subscribe and like the video. Hope you guys get your daily practice and see you guys in the next one. Enjoy.